This is the all hits, no misses book recs list on the founding of America and American politics. First up, we have all the book recommendations you'll ever need on the birth of American politics, specifically related to the Constitution. The Constitutional Convention, a narrative history from the notes of James Madison. Madison rightfully took his own notes during the Constitutional Convention because he did not trust that the full truth would be told once the convention was over. His notes on the convention are extremely important and paramount to the history of the Constitutional Convention. The intention of the Constitutional Convention was to be anti-party, anti-faction. The Anti-Federalists and the Constitutional Convention debates, which were the responses to the Federalist Papers, Alexander Hamilton, James Madison, and John Jay, who were the primary forces during the debates of the Constitutional Convention. We have two books on the history of America and the birth of American politics related specifically to the Constitution by Jill Lepore. These Truths, which talks about the history previous, during, and after the birth of American politics and the creation of the Constitution. We the People talks about the history of constitutional amendments, all the times that the Constitution has been attempted to be amended, the impact of those amendments, and the history of those amendments over time. The U.S. Constitution and other key American writings. It is a collection of all the important founding documents, the Bill of Rights, U.S. Constitution, the Declaration of Independence. Everything you need is in this brown or blue leather-bound book. If you're looking for something more narrative on the history of the founding of America and the birth of American politics, this is your stack. The Radicalism of the American Revolution by Gordon S. Wood talks about how it was not just a departure from English rule, but rather a massive groundswell of ideals in America at that time. The two works of scholarly narrative history by Alan Taylor. American Revolutions talks about the events that led up to, during, and after the Revolutionary War, eventually bleeding into the Constitutional Convention and into the third presidency under Jefferson. American Republics. This is a thematic history in which Taylor highlights the history of the Americas from society, religion, politics, business, language, so many different things packed into this book. It's fantastic narrative history. Founding Partisans by H.W. Brands. This is about Madison, Jefferson, Hamilton, Adams, and the brawling birth of American politics. It is a fascinating narrative history that weaves in and out of quotes, documents, stories about the Constitutional Convention. It highlights these characters in such vivid color, and one that I recommend to anybody that wants to start learning about the founding era of America. If you want to dive into biographies, this is your stack. Thomas Jefferson, The Art of Power by John Meacham. Meacham is one of the most authoritative voices when it comes to presidential biographies and does a magnificent job with Jefferson. Washington, A Life by Ron Chernow. Chernow, like Meacham, is also an authoritative voice when it comes to biographical works. His work on Washington is massive and absolutely incredible. John Adams by David McCullough. McCullough does a wonderful job of highlighting Adams, not in a way that makes him glorified or dignified, but the true person that Adams was, and it is something of a tumultuous history for Adams. Alexander Hamilton by Ron Chernow, the great schemer, one of the most influential people in American history. Chernow does a masterful job with the Hamilton biography. Highly, highly, highly recommend throwing this to the top of your list.